Alright, just shot about 5 minutes of video. Didn't see a counter, thought the thing was not running. Hit the button. Anyway, this is me, Blaine, on the Old God's Own YouTube. I know there's not a lot of people check out this YouTube, but I know there's a few that will. And I have a message. God shut me up a couple of years back about coming to a place in knowledge, or what I think it was a runner on the ladder where I was at the time, and I think God shut me up. Well, God is kind of in a roundabout way told me to open my mouth, so I will. I guess everybody is aware with what's going on in the world. The governments are changing. The corona has shut down the world. Oh, kitty. The governments are shutting down the world, started the world over, and now we don't know who's going to be the government, who's running what. All we know is we're getting some pretty good warnings that we're looking at the possibility of starving, and that brings about a great shaking in mind. And we're not there yet where it's really shaking us that hard, but I can guarantee you when those shells get empty, it's going to be a great shaking. So, that being said, and I'm right there with most of the world, you know, trying to collect a few groceries, put them aside, in the hopes that, you know, me and family won't be one of the families that will have to do without. Well, with all that being said, there's a YouTuber that I like to watch because he's basically a gardening YouTuber. An interest that I have in garden. And it looks like we all better get an interest in it and start thinking about trying to make some groceries. But anyway, I just want to show you this setting of which I'm talking in. Not that it changes anything or does anything, but this is the yard. There's a little lake down there. And this is my home in Liberty, Mississippi. I guess I could say a little something about that. I had a home in Zachary, Louisiana, which I loved very much. Been there since I was 11 years old, came there as a child. Beautiful old antebellum home, live oak trees, driveway, and it was taken away from me because the government wanted to build a water project through our place, and I probably alluded to that in some videos over the years, and but just to catch up on that, I'm at a beautiful spot here in Mississippi, and I am happy. I lived through it, came out well. God has helped me so much in that process, because I didn't want to end up feeling like I got screwed out of my home all my life and end up an old mean curmudgeon. So the place is very beautiful, very calming, very tranquil, and I'm lucky there, and I'm blessed there. So on to the old guy that I like to watch. His name is Deep South Homestead, I believe is the name of the channel. And he's an older guy, a little older than me, and he's a very spiritual man. And I noticed in the last couple of videos he's been acting a little different. By the way, this video is not to you if you ever see this. Homestead, Deep South Homestead, if you ever see this video, it's directed at a part of you that's in all of us, and that's what I feel like talking about now, or I feel led to talk about. And in this video, a couple last videos, the man said that he's going to go through a change, and he quit some type of group meetings that he was doing with people or whatever, and he's letting younger people take over that thing, and he's going to be dedicated to taking care of his family on the homestead. And he kind of alluded to not a threat, but a way of thinking that he's going to be going through, which was he was going to go hard or distant or something to that effect with people that would try to do him harm. And I thought, you know, that was an interesting thing for a Christian. You know, everybody has got their own, every place in the Bible that's already come into your mind to justify self-defense, to justify killing people for self-preservation, to justify, and I have my own, I have had for years. But I have to address this deeper thought that comes to me by way of the fire. And those of you who have known anything about me, you've probably known that I talk about Lance Knight sometimes, which was a gentleman that studied with Shepherd's Chapel, and then later went through some type of fire, spiritual fire, which is God, which changed him, reconformed him into something different than what he was. And I got interested in that, and I believe that same thing is happening to me, and it's a very good thing. With that being said, so my mind went to when the guy started talking about going hard, protecting his beans and rice and things from people that would take it from him and do his family harm. The way he spoke, I thought he was kind of talking about defending himself to the death, though he didn't come out and say that. That's my assumption what he meant. So it made me think about Christ. They came to get Christ in the night, and there was a younger soldier there that laid hands on Christ. And one of Christ's men, one of the 12, drew a sword. I can't remember which one it was right now. It might have been Peter, I forget. But he whacked at the guy and actually hit the guy's ear. And if I remember, it took his ear completely off. Well, Christ kind of rebuked the guy with the sword a little bit, and he kind of took it from him and laid it down. And Christ actually picked up the guy's ear and held his ear back on his head, and through the miracle that Christ had worked, that ear became whole again. Now, this guy was coming to kill Christ. He's basically coming to lead him to his death. He may or may not have known that. I have to think as a soldier, he probably knew, and they sent him to pick up a guy of that faith that Jesus was, or just a holy man of any kind. It probably would have end up well for him. But be that as it may, I thought about that for years and years, and the thought came to me as I was watching this old farmer guy that is getting in that survival gear, as so many of us have been getting this past few months, because none of us want to be the ones without, none of us want to be the ones that's unprepared. Man, I got to wonder, is that the right thing to do? Even if they're coming to rape your family, to kill you, is it the proper thing for a man that is holding the Spirit of Christ inside his vessel? Is it a wise thing for that man to exhibit killing people? And like I said, I understand everybody's got their bits and pieces of the Bible that justify everything we want to do. I mean, we could justify killing everybody, the farmed animals, everything that pisses against the wall, as the book says in certain places. And we can justify all kinds of acts of violence for all kinds of reasons. God given the charge orders. All that being said, Christ didn't seem to have killing in him. And, Christ didn't seem to have vengeance in the vessel that he was when he walked this earth. May not be for when he comes back, but it probably will be the same for him. And I know all of you are thinking about a lot of scriptures that can speak against that. Trust me, the scriptures can be used in many ways, and we all see scriptures differently. But the point I'm trying to make here is, do we really want to become the killers to save our worthless hides? It's the soul that Jesus has worked on. It's the spirit of a man that's been conformed, honed, and it's the soul of a man that has been put through the furnace to purify, to do away with killing. And I understand a lot of people, you look at them and you say they're horrible. And I'm sure that guy that was coming to lay hands on Christ to lead him to his death, the 12 thought he was pretty horrible. But Christ saw fit to restore the guy back his ear, and that's an interesting note, because this is what you hear. This is what you hear from. And I also have to wonder, how did that guy feel after Christ, the guy that, you know, a couple of weeks later after Christ might have been crucified, this guy had to think, man, this guy, he could have let that guy bust my head with that sword on the second whack. But this guy healed my ear. What did he want me to hear? And he probably later heard the story of Christ. Because when you give somebody that kind of a break, even when you're being a killer, or you're being a robber, or you can put a lot of things in there, and still Christ gave him the cloak that he wanted to steal. As that story said, you know, somebody steals your coat, give him the other part of it. How would that make a thief feel? You know, if somebody stole your coat and you turn around and give him another part of it, well, you'll be warmer. This is the power that conforms people. Christ came for those people. He came for the people that were broken, that were sinful, that needed reforming, it needed saving. So, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say, not only to Deep South Homestead, but I'm saying that everybody watching this video, be careful for what you may lose and what you may win. The people that are going to be coming to you to get in that garden, the people that are going to be coming to you for food and help, may not be all that bad. Some of them may. But who needs Christ more than the ones that may be coming to kill you? So, my advice, be more Christ-like, even to your death, as Christ was Christ-like even unto his death. I remember one time, I think it might have been that same guy, was trying to talk Christ into leaving that place so they wouldn't crucify him. And he actually looked at the guy and said, "Get back from me, Satan. Your death is required of this world. Your death it's a must. It's going to happen. As the death of Christ, his life was a must. So, don't waste it. Don't waste it in a big fight or shootout or chaos. That guy coming for your food, he might have a car full of kids up the road that are starving too. And we're not saving this worthless flesh. We're not going to save it. It's going to go. We're going to lose it. We're going to be left with only the spiritual. Don't damage the spiritual trying to save your worthless hide. I understand the hide has value, but we're two people, like Paul said. We're the flesh guy and we're the spirit guy. And they're kind of always at odds. And at some point, the flesh guy is going to lose. He's got to die. It would be a terrible loss to lose the things that Christ instilled in you through his story and through his actions, trying to save the dust of this world. And with that, I'm going to end this video because it's getting late out here. This is the first video I made in a long time. May not even be able to get the thing loaded up. I don't know. But I just feel led to talk. And if you got anything out of that talk, then God bless you. And God bless me. And I'm going to end this video if I can remember how to do that. Let me turn this camera around. So we'll see you, everybody.